Hey guys, welcome back to Get Motivated and Fit TV. If you're new to the channel, the concept behind Get Motivated is to get more out of life. So again, I appreciate everyone stopping by the channel. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for subscribing. I do have some new subscribers. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. So this week and this week alone, in honor of Correctional Officer Week, I am going to do a video every day, letting y'all know, my experience, the stuff that I learned. I mean, I already did a couple videos in the past, but it was mainly more of just the having the mindset of working inside the prison. But this one, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, trying to not say too much about how things are ran inside the prison. But, it's just, again, right, it's just the honor of it, because it does take a certain individual to work in a maximum prison, right? And I mean, like I said, it's something that I do miss, more of the brotherhood. I do miss that. But at the same time, like I think I was going through a season and my time was up. But so that's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my experience, my story. I was there in 2012 and I left in about 2017. I almost made it the 5 years. And just like I said, right, like stuff happened. And but let me go ahead and start off, at the very beginning, like very, very, very beginning. I applied, and about maybe like 2-3 weeks, I get the packet in the mail. And oh, you know what? Let me backtrack. Before I got the packet in the mail, I actually had to go down to the prison where I was gonna, where I wanted to work at, and I had to take a test. I remember that I had to take a like a photographic memory test. They give you a picture and you have like maybe 5 minutes to look at the picture, to study, and all you can do is take mental notes. And then after that, then they give you some questions, based on that picture, right? So you just gotta, based on your memory, write down what what you saw. I think one of them was like, how many offenders did you see in the picture? How many officers? Those kind of things, right? And I'm trying to think what else. If there was another test, and I can't remember. I mean, it's been what, 12 years? I can't remember. I just remember that test stood out because it was like a photographic memory test. So and I think I did an interview with somebody from HR, and the same thing, right? The questions that they asked, like, again, right, like, you're gonna be working as an officer in the maximum prison, so it's like they want to make sure that they're not gonna go through the hiring process and then you decide, hey, this isn't for me, and like they just want to make sure. And so after the interview, I went back home. Keep in mind, the prison that I went to was Connolly, so it was a good, I believe, like an hour and a half drive, just one way. And then after that, they told me, okay, we'll send this off to Huntsville, and then we'll reach out to you in a couple weeks with your hiring packet. So yeah, a couple weeks went by, and I remember getting the packet in the mail, and I remember they told me, like, if it's just an envelope and it feels thin, that means they didn't hire, like they didn't want to follow through with the hiring process. But if you get a packet, then that means that you got hired. So yeah, I mean, mine was a packet. So it was basically everything, like everything what I had to do, what I had to bring for my first day of the training academy, which was going to be in Beeville. And so yeah, I'm like, oh crap, like this is official. Like I am now like a state employee. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I mean, shoot, I just knew, like, okay, like this is, like, I know I gotta take a physical test. I know that I'm not in the best shape of my life at that time. I'm like, the requirements, it's like very minimum. So I'm like, okay. And I'm keep in mind, this is 2012, so I'm pretty sure it's changed since then. So show up that first day, check in, and it was basically like a half day. It was like you had to pass that physical test in order to move on. If you didn't, like that's where they're gonna stop you, and you won't even get what they call a BOQ room, BOQ room. And basically, like, you just get your stuff, and like, that's it. Like, they're not gonna move on. Like, they're not gonna, you're not gonna continue with the training academy. So yeah, I mean, I did my, and if I remember correctly, it was like how many push-ups you can do in a minute, how many sit-ups you can do in a minute. They had a ladder that you had to climb up and down, I believe like 10 times. Then a quarter mile, you can either walk or jog, but everything was based on a point system. And I think it was like a 50-pound bag that you had to carry from point A to point B, and then from point B to point A. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else. No, I think that was it. I think as far as for the physical test part of it. And again, everything was a point system, so like depending on the time that you did on your quarter mile walk or run, determine how many points you got. And of course, the higher the points, the more better it looks for you. So after that, after you pass the physical test, then they would issue you your uniform, and then of course your room as well. And basically, like, that was it. Like, at that point, it was like up to you if you wanted to stay in the BOQ, because it was on a Friday. I remember that. So the actual academy started on Monday. So I went back home. Like, at that point, I was married. I had my kids. I'm like, I'm gonna go back home. Like, I'm not gonna stay here for the weekend. So I grabbed my stuff, and I went back home. And let the wife know at the time, like, hey, you know what, like, I made it. I start Monday. I gotta get these uniforms taken care of, because I gotta be in uniform Monday. And I had to get the pants altered. I had to get everything pressed up. And so Monday comes around. I believe, did I leave Sunday night? Yeah, I think I did. I think I left Sunday night, so I can sleep Sunday night and then wake up Monday and just show up Monday to the and I want to say, like, the first, I don't know if it was the first 3 days or the first week, it was just boring. Like, it was just nothing but paperwork, training, policies, just basically, like, not so much the history of TDC, but like going over the mission statement, going over the core values, going over what to expect as being an officer, going over PREA, going over STG, and I'm sure, like, all that's like sounds like lingo, and just, yeah, like, going over the duty as your responsibility as being an officer, like what to expect once you're out there, on the field, so to speak. But that first, like I said, the first 3 days, the first week, it was boring. Like, it dragged, like, it really did. And yeah, I mean, I think, you had breaks in between. I want to say you had, I don't know, it was a 30-minute lunch or an hour lunch. But at that point, like, for me, it didn't make sense to go back home, right? Like, at that point, like, I got to stay the whole week. And it was just Monday through Friday. That was the cool thing about it. I'm trying to remember if how long was the academy? I can't remember if it was a month, if it was 2 months. But as the weeks went by, I also remember we would go out to what they call DT, defensive tactics, and we would go out where we went to go take our fit test and basically do drills on blocking, not so much striking, but mainly more just blocking, and doing some kicks. That's pretty much it. And then, you know what? And then, of course, after that, then we also went down to the shooting range. That was fun too. Learning how to shoot a six round revolver. an AR-15, and then a shotgun, 12 gauge. So that was fun. And then going through the gas chamber too. We went one time with the mask, and then the second time without it. Because yeah, like there's gonna be times where once you're inside that prison, shit pops off. You gotta, you know, to contain the situation, you gotta deploy the chemical agents, and sometimes you don't have time for a mask. So yeah, that was, whew, fun times. And I'm trying to think of what else with the academy, that from what I remember. I mean, then of course, right, like I had, oh, you don't stay by yourself. You do get bunked with, I believe, 4 per room, but we were lucky. I was lucky. I was able to bunk with 2 other guys, and it's not co-ed. And so yeah, so we had 4 bunks, but it was just 3 of us. And you know, we built that brotherhood, you know, right then and there. You know, we had somebody that learned how to, that, or not learned, but they knew how to get a nice shine on them boots, on them black boots. And you know, he taught us like, hey, this is how you do it, and it's just repeat the process. And you had somebody else that, you know, iron pressed up the uniforms all nice and crisp, and have that cardboard feeling, and especially the collar too. And over time, right, like you took pride in how, in your uniform, right? Because that said a lot. And I remember one of the instructors, they said that, like, if, you know, if you don't take care of yourself with from your boots all the way up, like these offenders, like they're gonna study you, and they're gonna take advantage. You know, if you're like that, if you're not taking care of your uniform, if your boots are all dirty and your uniform looks like it just came out of the dryer, and you didn't take the time to iron, like those are the ones that 9 times out of 10 the offenders are gonna want to try to convince to bring contraband in, right? Versus somebody, you know, you take pride in your uniform, you have your boots shine, your uniform all pressed up, you know, heavy starched, and you know, like, oh man, like this dude's a boss man, like, you know, he's by the book, or he's a RoboCop. So yeah, so I think that'll be it for this video for the first day. Just, you know, like I said, my experience from going to the academy, not knowing what to expect. And y'all stay tuned for tomorrow. You know, I'll go in more into depth of OJT, and then we'll go from there. But I hope y'all are well. I hope y'all are blessed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one.